guys, we are ready for our next section in chapter 8. And now we're talking about changes in dimensions. This is on page 641. I'm going to go ahead and skip this first page because it's not really relevant to what we need to talk about. And I'm going to go right over here to page 642. Okay? And primarily I'm going to focus on this part right here because this is really where the meat of the lesson is. And what it says is that to find the surface area, anytime you're talking about surface area, and you're talking about when it goes from one measurement to another measurement. So for instance, these are similar because this one is exactly 2 times bigger than this one. This one started at 4 and it went up to 8. So this cube is exactly 2 times larger than this cube. So that's what we're talking about today, whenever we enlarge or shrink a solid, okay? So to find the surface area, anytime it asks for surface area, you're going to take the scale factor squared. So whatever the scale factor is, you're going to square it, and then you're going to take that times the measurement. So let's look down here on A. It says the surface area of a triangular prism is 34 square inches. What is the surface area of a similar blah, 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 blah? All I really need is the scale factor. Here's my scale factor because it's 3 times larger or 3 times as great. And here's my original. So my scale factor, because I'm dealing with surface area, I'm going to square it, and I take that times my original measurement. So I have 34 times 3 squared, which is the same as saying I have 34 times 9. So I'm going to take 34 times 3 squared, and that gives me 306. So the new triangular prism is 306 inches squared. Okay? So scale factor, square it, take it times the original. Let's look at this next one. All the information I need is the scale factor. Well, it says right here, the scale factor. So here's my number that I'm going to square. And I'm going to take that times the measurement given. So the measurement given is 352. So now I have 352 times 148 squared. So 352 times 148 squared. I'm going to go ahead and put that in parentheses so that it does the correct calculations. I'm going to put a parentheses here. And I'm going to put a parentheses over here. Then I'm going to square that. And you get 59 over 338, or 384, sorry, which is this. So my measurement for that one, for the original one, is 0.15. Okay? Questions so far? If you have them, write them down in the column. We will come back to them and answer any questions that you have. Make sure that you write them down so that we know what your questions are. Okay? All right, let's go on to the next page right over here. This next page is not surface area. Now we are talking about volume. Okay? We went from surface area to volume. And the volume, the only thing you need to remember there is right here. Now when you have a scale factor, you're going to cube it instead of square it. Okay? So if it's talking about volume, you cube the scale factor. If we're talking about surface area, you square the scale factor. So let's look down here at C. It says a square pyramid, all I need to know is the number. There's my number, 512. And I need to know my scale factor. Well, it says, it doesn't have another number in here, but if I read this, dimensions 1/4 of the original, so that's the number I'm going to cube, is 1/4. So on your calculator, you're going to take 512 times 1, oops, I need to do my parentheses again. Goodness, I'm getting it all mixed up. 1/4, close parentheses, and you're going to cube it. Look for this button right here that has the X with a cube on the top. And my answer is 8. So my new one, remember this, we're looking at volume. So we're going to cube the scale factor. 1/4 cubed times 512. My final answer is 8 centimeters, because that's what we're measuring in, cubed, because volume is always cubed. Okay, let's do the last one. Here's my number, so I know I'm going to be taking 432 times something. I want to find my scale factor. My scale factor is 1/3 because we're talking about volume. I know I'm going to cube my scale factor. So I have 432 times 1/3 cubed. So my answer is 16. Okay, 16, and my measurements were meters, cubed because it's volume. All right, just remember that if you're working with surface area, you're going to square the scale factor. If you're working with volume, you're going to cube the scale factor. And that's the main parts of this lesson. If you have any questions, let us know. Have a great night, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.